Hello, welcome back to the channel. Back in rehab. And they let me get my Ichigo figure. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. The sword just fell out. We're off to a splendid start, but like, look at this. My sister got me this figurine. It's pretty cute. It's Ichigo from Bleach. But we're not here for that. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna keep it here, and that's the only prop I'll ever have in my videos. Anyway, Titanic. We're here to talk about Titanic, which is directed by James Cameron. But yeah, I mean, let's. Who hasn't heard of the Titanic? I feel like it's such. Like, the Titanic is pop culture. Like, everyone across the world knows about the Titanic. It's one of the biggest movies ever made. It's cost more than. It, like, made $1 billion at the box office. It cost more to make the Titanic film than the actual ship. But I guess you would have to count inflation into consideration, right? But anyway, so Titanic, of course, starring Leo and Kate Winslet, and Billy Zane is the fiance. Huh? Good shit, good shit. So I basically went into this movie thinking, okay, so is it gonna be one of those, oh man, this larger than life movie which you rewatch as an adult and you're like, man, this really wasn't that good. I think Titanic was actually great. I had a great time watching it. I was going in, I will be honest, I went in with expecting it to be much worse than I remember, but it holds up great. It's actually a fantastic little film. You know, Kate Winslet and Leo, so young, so pretty in this film, truly beautiful. You know, it's a great film overall. I think a lot of it is um, really cheesy in a way, but it works because it feels like there's soul to it, and I appreciate that. And it felt really good watching this film. Couple of things I want to point out immediately. There's, of course, there's the whole famous, oh, could he have fit on the plank, or it was a door and all that. Well, number one, now that I have watched the film, he actually did try to get on the plank door thingy, but it almost drowned them both. So he decided to stay in the water. So that's answered, which honestly, yeah, I did watch it, and it's only for like a brief second. But yeah, before he puts her on the thing, they both try to get on, and the whole thing starts tilting, and he's like, oh fuck, and he just lets her stay on there. For everyone who's saying, oh, it was big enough for the both of them. Yes. But also, I remember going into this movie thinking, because, a lot of the times people are like, oh man, this movie, it really, like, she's so selfish in this movie. Rose is like the villain of the movie. And, she like cheats on her fiance and she's basically a cheater and she, gives up everything for like this vagabond 17-year-old, even though she's also 17, I guess. I watched the film. Her fiance is Billy Zane, who, by the way, look at his little smirk. I'm just looking at his photo right now. Incredible job. I think he does a really good job in this film. His character, the fiance, is actually not a good person. He's pretty terrible to Rose. And honestly, I noticed one thing. It was not until he really, like, got basically fucking had a meltdown on her and, like, held her cheeks and all, and he was like, oh, you'll not meet him, or something along those lines. I realized a big switch where she started getting more involved with Jack when he started to flare up on her. And that was just like, yeah, you know. And as for the whole argument that she doesn't care about her family, I feel like no one above the age of 16 says that. Because if you are someone who really believes that Rose should have married Cal, or like, yeah, the fiance, she should have ended up marrying him for the sake of her mother, I think you need to maybe start thinking for yourself more than what your parents want. Just saying. And the whole reasoning is, by the way, that they're poor, that they spent all of their money on the ship, and that if this marriage doesn't happen, the mother's gonna go broke, and her reputation will be gone to hell. Which is like, you're kind of putting a lot of responsibility on. And by the way, just gonna read this here. A 17-year old, yeah, they're both kids essentially. I mean, I would be this dumb when I was 17. I get it. So yeah, I understand that aspect of, oh, Rose was actually pretty dumb, but the whole she's a cheater and everything is kind of like, Well, yeah, but her fiance kind of treats her like shit if you watch the movie. Like, if you really watch the movie, he really doesn't treat her well at all. He doesn't give a shit about her. She's like having these pretty little paintings put on, and he's just like, oh yeah, this, that, and you can clearly tell, like, it's always times like this when you're like, yes, it's bad that he got cheated on, but then, like, goddamn, like, maybe if he treated her a bit better, maybe she wouldn't go for some artist who literally snuck on the ship, maybe she would feel more appreciated. Have you thought of that? you know but that was just the two things I wanted to discuss. Apart from that, the movie is actually pretty great. I was expecting this movie to be really long for whatever reason. I think my attention span as a kid was just smaller, or I didn't remember as much. But this movie really didn't feel that long. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be like a long ass movie, and it's gonna be quite a watch. No, not really. I finished it in one sitting. I actually had a great time you know and yeah, it is a very PG-13 movie. I mean we all know as kids the whole, the scene between them. Wait, how is this movie PG-13? Kate Winslet has her tits out, but sure, I guess they just get a pass for that. No, but the whole, the steamy sex scene, it really wasn't that. I feel like we've become so desensitized now, or we've grown older and we've seen much more extreme stuff in movies itself, that back then when you're kids you're like, oh my god, it's like the biggest thing ever, but it really isn't. Yeah, I think it's just a sign of the times, and the older you grow, the more you're like, man, this movie is just good. It's a great film. I actually enjoyed the Titanic a lot. If I had to give it a rating, I would say like a 4 out of 5, like a genuinely good film. Would I rewatch it? It's not up to my taste. It's not the kind of movies I like to watch, but I can't deny that it's a really good movie. And people who would die on the hill, like, oh my god, this is my favorite movie ever, like, I get it. In a sense, not exactly, but hey, everyone has their own opinions. Not everyone agrees with me. I don't agree with most of you. It's fine. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. On overall, a fun film, definitely worth a rewatch. I think most of us saw Titanic when we were really young in our lives, right? And why would you want to rewatch a movie which you remember so vividly, but then you rewatch it and you're like, oh man, I really didn't remember it as vividly as I thought. So that's gonna be it from me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. How old were you when you were, when you first watched the Titanic? I was like 10, or maybe even younger when I watched it first. Not the full movie, but whatever I remember of it. But let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.